Marvel, you have the keys. Let me drive. You have the keys. Let me drive. Yes, sir. Welcome back to Redacted Show. I'm your host, Wafiq, or Feek with my co-host, my other host.
It's your co-host, Dana Dane, in the building. And we're back from our $100 bun, $100, $100 ding ding hangover. It wasn't a complete hangover because we still got some content out to you guys. Shout out Wafiq at his job he was doing at the Redacted Show, at DreamCon, at Anime Convention Houston, at fucking other conventions, doing an interview with a whole ton of people. We got a lot of content for you guys, but we know y'all missed my face. You know, I'm not gone. I was not removed.
We did.
At least not yet anyway. But with that being said, before we get into this 101 Dalmatian episode, we want to appreciate you guys for subscribing, for riding with us, supporting us this whole time. We really do appreciate all the love and support. Make sure you guys, any new watchers, new subscribers, subscribe, like, rate us a 5-star comment. We need all that engagement. We appreciate all that engagement. Continue to engage in the TikToks, the IG Reels, in any form of medium. We are also on all listening platforms, even the ones that got discontinued. We're still on there.
We still there.
So if you got them, we on there at the Redacted Show. And I know you guys see it. You guys see the new shirts.
Come on, man.
If y'all are interested in getting some merch, don't hit us up. Yeah, we're not that big. These are exclusive.
Yeah, you can hit us up. It may or may not get made for you, but you can hit us up still.
If y'all want these shirts, just let us know.
We can get it's just more on the back, but we're not gonna show y'all that. We're not gonna show
we can't show the back.
We can't show the back.
We're just not going to. But with that being said, let's not yap anymore. We're gonna get straight to it. There was a lot of stuff that came out this past month of June. There's a lot of stuff coming out this new month of July. Not only cinema, but just anime as well. I just was reminded that we're getting some Jujutsu Kaisen media this month, if I'm not mistaken, right? The new season.
Not this month.
Outside of that, we got super fan world, whatever this, what is this? We got super fan world this month. We got Jurassic World that's already out at the time of this recording. We got next week Superman, James Gunn's official start to his DCU. I'm excited for that. A lot of people are excited for that. I feel like a lot of people are excited to see that movie fail. Not me though, bro. Not us.
Hey, we want to see that succeed. Real quick, bro. They've been on Twitter talking about like different James Gunn stuff, and they've been using hashtags like "Gun ain't jammed" or "My gun's still ready." Hey, I'm sorry. These niggas on DC, they hilarious, bro. Bro, they was talking about, they said release the gun cut or some shit. These niggas are hilarious, but continue, Dana.
Could you imagine if we got a gun cut of Superman? I would love to see that. There's been a lot of just, good trailers behind this figure. I don't know how many trailers you've seen on there trying to like minimize the amount of trailer and media you've seen for movies, but not me though. I see with everything I've seen, it just gives me more and more excited. I think there are some, even with all the trailers we've seen, I still believe like we don't really know what this movie's about. Yeah, we have an idea. Like we have the idea like, okay, this Superman is established. He's at least in year 2 of being Superman. He's been here for a while. It's a lived in at least city with other superheroes. We got I think it's going to be the Justice Society, or at least like a form of Justice Society with Guy Gardner, Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, different people like that. And, Metamorpho, Lex Luthor. I'm excited for this Lex Luthor because I don't believe outside of Christopher Reeve's Superman, we haven't really had like a true intimidating like Lex Luthor. And I'm excited to see Nicholas Holt's portrayal of him, even in the trailers. You know, like he's still Nicholas Holt. You can hear him.
You can hear him,
but like, you know, just his stature, his demeanor in the trailers we've seen. Like this nigga's a dickhead, which is what Lex Luthor is to Superman. Like he's just like, fuck this guy. We don't need him in our country. He sounds like a lot of people you know today, if you know what I'm talking about. But with that being said, outside of that, we also got the Fantastic Four coming out a couple weeks after that in the month of July.
Hold on. That Go Fantastic ahead. Four. Look, you said earlier you were talking about the trailers and stuff. I have been watching more trailers than usual because I've been so excited. I said, you know what? I'm not going to limit myself this time. I'm going to indulge a little bit more. So I've been watching a little more trailers. That latest Fantastic Four trailer.
That's some heat.
Hey.
That's Human Torch.
She came down and said that line. I told you already. I said that might be like a top 5. You can maybe argue it's not top 5. It's at least top 10 quotes in MCU already. She said, I'm not even gonna say the whole thing. I'll put it in the video. But that hoe was hard, nigga.
I herald his beginning. I herald your end. I herald Galactus.
Definitely top 10 quote MCU quotes for sure. We'd had to go digging through the crates on like what would actually be our top 5.
I herald
Thanos easily takes 5 of those top 10. He's like, dread it, run from it.
Destiny arrives all the same. Yeah. But no.
That nigga was like, you couldn't live with your failures, so it brought you back to me. That's one of the hardest lines.
That nigga very first quote. Fine, I'll do it myself.
We may just have to take an episode to like just dissect quotes. all our top MCU quotes. I'm sure when Dr. Doom comes in, he's gonna drop some fucking nasty one-liners. But speaking of MCU, there was a show that came out last month that was only 2 weeks long, but that's because they essentially dropped half and half episodes, which is Ironheart. So Ironheart takes place in terms of timeline in the MCU. I would say pretty much present day. Like it's kind of vague on when it started. I know it's after the blip, and I'm just gonna go out and say present day. We see it takes place after the events of Black Panther 2, which where we first seen her. She was still a student at MIT.
Mm-hmm.
And so it takes place after that. And kind of, I wouldn't say a origin, but just like a introducing of this character. Like, we do see kind of her backstory. It's like a mix of an origin plus coming of age. And it's like, we've never seen this character outside of Wakanda Forever, and basically her being the MacGuffin of that of that movie. Sophie, what were your thoughts on this? Obviously, this this show, this series was heavily hated. You know, I would go as far. Well, not even go as far. It definitely was review bomb.
Yeah, it was review
like
bomb.
Like a bitch.
Yeah,
I think it's at this point in IMDb, without taking away the review bombs, it's like a 3.5 out of 10 stars, which we both know that's not true. It's just before any sort of even trailers or some like the first images we got, it just was masked with hate. But after watching the show, Fee, what were some of your thoughts overall on Ironheart, and just the final end of Phase 5?
Yeah. Initial thoughts on everything. We're gonna get into spoilers a little after this, but initial points, I thought it was a very good show. I thought there was maybe a few parts here and there where I was like, but I think overall it kept me captivated. Them last, like that second that last 3 episodes, you can't tell me that shit was a heat. I don't care. I don't care how bigoted you is. You just blind if you think that was a heat. But overall, I think it was a good introduction. I think the cast was very good. The directing, the producing, everything. Ryan Coogler was the executive producer, but there are other producers on there as well. The directing was great. I don't have the directors' names up currently, but she did a great job. And I think overall it gave me that sense of wanting more because they introduced around I would say 3 key points, especially story points where I was like, oh, I need a second season or I need to see this character more in depth. So I thought it was really good overall. I mean, don't listen to these fake.
Yeah, don't listen to them.
Don't listen to these fake MCU fans, boy.
Not even just fake MCU fans. It's just like
it's trolls, bro.
Just internet trolls. Like they aren't fans of the MCU. My opinion, they're not fans of the MCU. Like those people that came out and just from day one, when we got the announcement of an Ironheart show, from that moment it just got hate.
Exactly.
And it didn't help that it was announced during a time where the MCU was kind of on a decline with how Phase 4 was going and some of the beginnings of Phase 5. But it's just like, yeah, like this just was the victim of internet trolls and like how a reality of how this isn't a word, but I'm going to say it anyway, how like unprogressive America is. Like we're reminded every day we're not as progressive as people like to think we are, but it's with shows like this. Like we already talked about this. Like people hate women and they hate black people, and when you combine those and put it in a show like this, you get shit like this.
Yeah,
but you know when I was reminded, because even before, remember when they had that trailer about the new shows coming out, and they had this on there, I was like, I was very skeptical because I was like, I don't know, man. Ironheart, like I was one of the ones on the skeptical side. Like I don't know, like I would love to be wrong. Thankfully, I was, but I'm just like I just don't see it doing well because it's like you got people shitting on it already. I haven't really heard any sort of
marketing
news or marketing on it. Like it basically, we didn't get a full trailer for this shit until maybe a month before the show came out.
I will say, I think one reason I think they did do the marketing like that was, one, they didn't know how to market it at first, but then once Sinners did so well, they said, thank God that Ryan Coogler helped produce this. Now we can use him as well. So that's when they start, because you see, as soon as Sinners was done, that's when they started doing heavy marketing with it.
Yeah.
So I think they were banking low key on Sinners, and when it did go well, they said, okay, we can market this to like, because after that, nigga, we got a new trailer, we got TV spots, we got everything back to back to back to back to back. So I think that's what they were banking on for real. But yeah, overall, like just from the non-spoiler, not even talking about characters in depth yet, I think overall it's a very enjoyable show. I think if you like MCU, especially like MCU in general, you should watch the show because it has a lot of stuff in it that connects to a lot. When I tell you a lot of stuff,
yeah,
it connects to some heat, boy. They don't know what they know what they did, but I don't think they know what they did with that last episode.
I'm gonna go as far as I don't think they know what they did with this show.
They
with how it ended,
but
and with what I was telling you, we'll go ahead and just kind of get straight into it. Well, I'll give my non-spoiler review,
give yours.
Just I enjoyed it. Again, like I said, I was skeptical going in the show. I went in with open mind. Thank goodness I did because I was proved wrong. This was some good TV. First half, like it was enjoyable watch. There are some things that were kind of questionable. Like I think I told you, like some of the camera angles, like how it was shot, was kind of making me feel. You know, I was trying to understand like what they were doing with that. Maybe it was like because there was some of the shots where Riri was kind of going through her mind. Maybe it was from her perspective of what she was going through in her mind. I don't know, because a lot of this show was about just battling trauma.
Yeah, it was how to process trauma and traumatic events. Honestly, it was to me one of the sub things is that it was showing like healthy and almost unhealthy ways people process trauma.
Exactly. But yeah, is just Dominique Thorne. She was great in this show. Like even Lyric Ross. There was a lot of people. All people I knew going into this was Dominique Thorne and Anthony Ramos, because he's in a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But even he was good as the Thorn. I think he kind of suffers. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he kind of suffers from like the Aquafina effect, where at least to me, he kind of comes off as a nigga almost, but he tries to be like that, but it doesn't feel as forced as like an Aquafina.
I think I don't feel that I don't feel that way about him just because of how he was in Transformers Rise of the Beast. I think because I seen him in that before I seen him in like anything else. Because at first I didn't really know who he was. I think I seen him in other things, but that was the first time I've seen him like an entire movie going through. So after that, I still kind of think of him in Transformers Rise of the Beast a little bit when I see him in other things. So I think that kind of makes me not think about it that much.
Yeah, I think the first thing I seen Anthony Ramos in, I know he was Hamilton. I seen him in Hamilton. He also was in Bad Guys. I know he kind of first popped on the scene in Into the Heights. I didn't watch that movie.
No, I didn't watch that either
because that was a musical. But and like in Twisters, he was a good actor too, like the second one. But yeah, he played the hood role really good. Even Zeke Stain, his actor, he was pretty funny too. Like he kind of grew to. I feel like a lot of he was going through some shit too. He was like, man, I ain't trying to do all this shit, dog. And then once he came out and it was just like he was a victim of kind of his own, maybe not fear, but just was like, I'm not trying to trust nobody. And then he trusts Riri, which Riri basically gets him arrested. Yeah. And then now him in the hood, hey, have a common name. He's like, hey man, I can get you what you want. But I really enjoyed his character too. He was kind of like the funny, awkward nerd in a way. Also, I also thought it was funny. Like, what the fuck is Eric Andre doing in this show?
Oh, that was random to me.
That was random as fuck. Just random, basically get killed off in one episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, how did you? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and basically get into spoiler talk. You know how we do reviews. We don't kind of go play by play. We just talk about different things, scenes that pointed out to us, and talk about that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get straight into pretty much them last two episodes. Please go ahead.
The last two episodes, we going straight there. Ooh, okay. Last two episodes, I will say the one part this is when I was talking earlier where I was like, it was some nice scenes, but I said, that's not. I don't think that should happen. Was when she was in the diner and they ambushed her, and she was beating the Blood Twins and like everybody's ass. I said, all right. I said, this looked cool, but I don't think she should be able to beat their ass.
No, she said, bro, that shit kind of pissed me off too. I'm like, aren't y'all niggas like dungeon fighters? Like you basically was in the trenches fighting niggas like goddamn Abomination and shit, or doing shit like that. I'm like, you getting beat by this fucking MIT nerd essentially? Like, there's no way. I don't care how much fucking karate, whatever she learned on YouTube or whatever. Riri should not be able to
Hand-to-hand
beat y'all in a
combat
fight.
them.
Basically, both
Yeah.
y'all 2-on-1 hand-to-hand combat. Maybe she can outsmart y'all, which I'm just gonna go with that.
What she did at the end,
outsmarted them.
But that initial fighting, that's like one of the few scenes in there where I said, this look live, but come on, bro.
I'm like, this should be only going on for like 3 minutes max. She should not be out of here, y'all, this hard.
Yeah, but going into the big scene, we're just gonna go straight to the big one, and then I want to go to Riri a little more. Them showing Mephisto, right? Ooh. So initially, when he was having them sign the contracts, in my mind, I was like, is he? At first, I thought I kind of knew it was Mephisto a little bit, but I wanted them to say it. But I was like, if he's not working with Mephisto, he's working with somebody. And I thought personally that he was giving them the contracts, but it was a contract made by Mephisto or somebody else or another like dark being, and they were signing like they sold over to it first, not just signing some shares as well. So I thought that's why they were signing, and I thought that's kind of like why his dad and the other guy at the end was like, "Boy, he's signing that shit."
Yeah.
But but the introduction to Mephisto, I think they did a great job with it. I think it was very well done. I think it also showed how much, in a sense, when you're hurt and when you have a lot of trauma, the things you're willing to go to have a little bit of peace. Because we see that one with Parker when he first meets Mephisto. He just wanted his dad to be like, "Come home, son." That's really what he wanted. That's really what he wanted.
That's all he wanted.
He just wanted a hug. But he ain't get that.
That's what he needed.
He needed a hug, but he got Mephisto, and he got that hood. But I think also Mephisto being in there opens up a giant canvas of things that we can explore now in the MCU. But that's my initial thoughts on it. I have a lot more thoughts, but I need to organize them real quick so you can talk.
Nah, it's just because I remember there were early rumblings and rumors that Mephisto was going to show up in this show, and that's when I was like, "All right, y'all are dragging." I didn't believe it. I'm like, y'all fucking dragging it. He gonna show up in fucking Ironheart. Get the fuck out of here,
especially since my bad to cut you off, but especially since he didn't show up in WandaVision, because that's where everybody thought he was gonna be. For you,
and it made the most sense because it's like
it's magic.
You got Wanda, she's made this deal with, or not even, because kind of how the show was going, it was kind of pulling from aspects of House of M, which Billy and Tommy, they were basically byproducts of a deal with Mephisto. Like, obviously we know she didn't have them kids naturally, but we all assumed like she just made a deal with the devil, which she didn't. She just was so powerful and going through so much trauma. She had niggas in hell, metaphorically, and made these kids out of thin air, out of chaos magic.
Yeah.
So after that, like, especially with not only that, but like the whole Ralph Boner shit, after that, I think people just kind of gave up on, not really gave up, but a lot of MCU fans just gave up on theorizing Mephisto. They're like, okay, yeah, whatever. We're going to believe it when we see it. Like, even with Doctor Strange, you're like, whatever. Like, we'll believe Mephisto is here until we hear that nigga say his name. And boy, did we get it. So, like, when they showed him in that diner, I was like, Mephisto? Question mark? Because, but the previous 2 episodes, we pretty much knew that this was going to be like a tech versus magic kind of show. Because they were talking about, oh, yeah, we know the hood is not from this dimension. And then they were bringing up names like Dormammu, which we've already seen Dormammu and all this stuff. And I'm thinking like, oh, you know how I feel about the MCU and Marvel and Magic. I don't think they really fuck with Magic for real. But I think after this show, they're gonna at least try to create some sort of storyline or timeline or storyline where, like you said, have the Midnight Suns, Doctor Strange, and have their own sort of magic universe, magic saga. Because we're in the multiverse saga. I think after the multiverse saga, obviously we're gonna get our reboot, but they're gonna basically be two sagas. We got the Mutant saga, and we got the Magic saga. We got the Midnight Suns. That's where our Blades, Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, they're all going to live in this realm. And then we're going to have the Mutant saga, and everyone else is just going to kind of jump back and forth between. So like the Spider-Man, we know he's he's shared custody. He can jump anywhere.
Yeah, he on everybody's team. That nigga is passed around.
And then like our Deadpools and Frank Castles, they'll just pop up wherever. Like they'll have like a mini saga where it's just like
we need some silver bullets. We need some silver bullets, Frank. We need some silver bullets, Frank.
But yeah, so that's just my thoughts on that. But back to Ironheart, I really like that last battle. Also, I sent you this voice message on after I seen this show today. But when Riri made that move, when it was like the fucking tech power up magic blast.
Yeah.
And not only did I think that was live, but I told him like they just did something. Ryan Coogler just did something I don't even realize he did. Because if Riri is doing this, imagine what that nigga Dr. Doom is finna be doing in Doomsday. Because comic book niggas know he is one of the few people that has mastered technology and magic synergy. He's the only person that has mastered that. So if Riri's doing this
nigga Doom.
So help me God.
Get over here. He about to be I don't know. Did you ever play Ultimate Alliance?
I didn't, but I know that game.
There's a scene in Ultimate Alliance, the original. I believe it's the original one. Nigga, cause they did a lot of cutscenes in that game because the game goes by your choices and it tells you at the end of the game like what your choices did. But there's a scene in there where niggas storm Doom Castle. When I tell you in that game on a cutscene, he slaughters everybody in that bitch. And they show it like Colossus comes up to him, he rips Colossus apart. I said, what the fuck? I'm gonna have to find a clip and send it to you, but he's gonna be doing some stuff like that. But with Ironheart, Mephisto was good. Riri, so the main character. I want to go into that analysis. So pretty much with Riri, I think they did a very good job. And one thing people kept saying, she disrespect Tony when she made that remark. I said, bro, she literally says, as like a second later, she literally says, I don't want to disrespect Tony Stark. Like, so that's out of the way. But I think they did a very good job showing how, I don't want to say arrogant, but that's the only word that comes to mind. It's not arrogance though, but that's the word that comes to mind when she tries to solve things. Because it's very much of, and she kind of said it, I'm smart. I know I'm smarter than all of y'all.
Yeah, well, I think it's just like almost like you said, not arrogance, but just unrealistic, like self-confidence, which I feel like a lot of geniuses have. Like they're just like, I believe so hard in my math. There's no way you can tell me this shit is wrong. Because Tony Stark had that problem.
That's what I was gonna say.
Reed Richards, we know he got that problem.
Oh, that nigga canically his character cannot accept magic exists. So much so they told in a comic. This is a sidetrack. In a comic, they told him we got to make a teleport. It was like a teleportation spell or something. He said, "Hell no." That nigga stretched his body and made teleportation with his body. That's how much he rejects magic. But to your point about geniuses, I'm glad they showed that because throughout the show, I was like, damn, especially the very end. I said, low key, she do act like this nigga Tony, bro. She's very much she has that point of like, I'm a genius, but then especially at the end where she almost when she accepted the deal with Mephisto, which I didn't think she was gonna do at first, but that was, to me, that was arrogance in the sense of you could see her brain thinking like, I know I can outsmart him. And that's
which is why she took the deal, because she's like, I could take this now, but I know I believe I can outsmart him. You're not outsmarting the devil. You're not outsmarting this nigga. Because when they at the end when they showed Natalie come back, but like actual Natalie, when she showed, I'm like, there's no way she took that deal. There's no way she, because I'm like,
I thought it was still a dream.
Mephisto would be a great like album label CEO. He'd have niggas done 360 deals out the ass. He'd have niggas.
That nigga could have been records. Welcome to Hell Records, nigga.
Welcome to Hell Records. All your music, all your rights are on to me, but don't worry. Like, what's your sacrifice? You're not even gonna really. It won't even matter. You don't even remember the shit.
You know what? I like that he said that too. He didn't say like, it's your soul I'm taking, but he kept saying, oh, you won't miss it. Cause he was almost, the way he was talking to them was like, I know you want this so bad. You don't care I know you don't give a fuck about the consequences. So you're not gonna miss your soul. So just give me that hoe. I really enjoyed that dialogue he had back and forth.
And the whole show, even when Zelma came in, she was like our first introduction of magic in the show. Outside of the hood, she's like, magic comes with a cost, which we know that from our Doctor Strange movies and WandaVision. Like, we know magic, like they said, is transactional. You're not getting this without putting some in.
Exactly.
Not like tech and shit. You can make shit out of your mind, and you're not really sacrificing. With magic, you're giving something up.
Yeah.
Whether it's your time or your soul. So I'm interested to see, like, I don't know if they're gonna make a second season out of this, but if they do, obviously that second season is just gonna be probably her dealing with like, oh shit, like this Mephisto deal, because I don't think she's gonna tell anybody until it's too late. Because the whole show, she was like, oh yeah, mom, I'm fine, like I'm good, I'm whatever. She didn't tell nobody till she was literally running for her life. She's like, hey guys, I need help.
Yeah.
Like, I'm about to die and I need you guys' help. So this is more than likely going to be the same. And it ain't just going to be another garage band montage. She going to need some niggas like Doctor Strange.
She going to need Wong.
Doctor Strange, not fucking Wong. Not Wong. Leave that nigga in the fucking Carmartage. We need Doctor Strange. I'm going to keep saying that. Doctor Strange is Sorcerer Supreme. Stop with the Wong jokes. Stop with the Wong Supreme shit.
You know what they need to do though? And then Zelma, her actress, Reagan Aaliyah, she had tweeted this too. She was like, because someone's like, Ironheart, y'all need to just, no, they said, Marvel, y'all need to just go ahead and do a Strange Academy.
I was thinking that too, especially at the end.
Yeah, because she knows Doctor Strange. At least in the comics,
she may not have met him.
Yeah,
but she knows who he is. Like she was, we know she was in Carmart. Well, the mom was in Carmartage. They moved, I think, before she even got into school.
Yeah, but
I'm like, damn, she more America Chavez than fucking America Chavez. They need to do a swap. But America Chavez and fucking Carmartage taking up space. That's a personality hire.
I forgot.
I was about to say something completely out of pocket. I'm gonna keep my comments to myself.
I forgot she was still in the MCU. But yeah, they need to do a Strange Academy, and then then they could have Riri in there with the curse, and then you could have them trying to solve it. But one thing I really enjoyed with Riri's character was she was very much herself in there. And then I liked her interaction with Zeke. When she was kind of talking to him, and she was like, "Bro, stand up for yourself. Just not to me, but stand up for yourself." Like, and then you kind of see him evolve. But overall, I think she a great character in the MCU now. I think she's definitely can be one of the more prominent ones, especially with how she like talks, reacts, and like breaks down things too. Dominic, you did a great job in this role, so that's what I gotta say.
Yeah. Nah, but overall, just Ironheart was that's some good TV. Like we said, don't listen to the internet trolls. Go watch it for yourself. Create your own judgment, your own thoughts on it. If you still don't like it, it was never meant for you. But if you if you watch it and you like it, that's great. We need more people watching these shows and just media as a whole.
I just thought of something. Even though I know we're kind of closing out from the Ironheart stuff, but last bit, I know we talked about Strange Academy 2. The very ending, we see Hood go meet Zelma again, and he's like, "I need some serious magic." That's another lane for y'all to do Strange Academy or throw in Doctor Strange and throw in the magic. And then speaking of all this magic shit, we talking about Midnight Suns, right? I'm about to go on a little bit of a tangent. Midnight Suns, right? We said you want to do the X-Men saga and Midnight Suns. You know who else going with the Midnight Suns? Magic herself. And you know what else she's part of? The X-Men. And you know what Magic is the queen of? Limbo, nigga. Come on, man. Bring this shit together. Marvel, you have the keys. Let me drive. You have the keys. Let me drive, nigga. Let me in the studio. Come on, man. Y'all could do this. Y'all could do some crazy shit.
They
man.
have the keys.
They're right there. Will they perform? That's what I want to know. But
man,
we said,
everything you just said. Because really, if they want to cook, if Marvel wants to cook,
come on, man,
they can use magic as that kind of back and forth between X-Men and the magic. Damn. They could use magic as like the pretty much the focal point between magic and mutants.
Exactly.
And tie that all together if they want to. We'll see what Marvel does. Because we know Kevin Feige and everyone at Marvel wants to jump into mutants so bad it's not even funny. Mm-hmm. That's why they got all the X-Men in Doomsday. But moving on from Ironheart, like we talked about earlier, July we got 3 powerhouse movies from 3 different kind of big name IPs coming out this month in Jurassic World, which
that's how the dinosaurs, bro. Have you seen that meme? I'm sorry, it's a meme where it's like dinosaurs back in the day. It's just a nigga yelling like that. I'm sorry. That was a little bit of the tweaking that came out.
Anyways, we got fucking Jurassic World, Rebirth. I think the last Jurassic World, because I'm kind of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World is like 2 different franchises under the same umbrella. So like I remember seeing the first Jurassic World.
Yeah, that was one with Chris Pratt. Well, that was the first one with Chris Pratt.
And then I think with, the one after that, Dominion.
Yes, because that's when they brought back some of the OG cast, if I'm not mistaken.
I saw Fallen Kingdom. Oh, that was the one after that. And then I kind of stopped after that.
I've seen them all. One thing I want y'all to know about me, I say it all the time. Well, actually, I haven't said it on here, I don't think, but the way people treat Fast and Furious movies is how I treat Jurassic Park movies. I do not care if that shit is terrible, I'm gonna watch me some dinosaurs.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I did see this shit. I just don't remember. So I'm looking at the cast right now, and I'm like, hold on.
You talking Fallen Kingdom?
I know I
seen
the first 2 Jurassic Worlds for sure. The third one, I believe I have. I just don't remember it. Yeah, because then they brought the original cast like Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, and all them. I didn't realize this fourth one was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, Dominion.
Yeah, I might have to see that. It's on Peacock. Might just have to watch that tonight before I go see the shit. But week after this, we get Superman.
Oh,
so
I take it.
We got a new. We've been getting trailers out the ass for these movies for Jurassic World, Superman, and Fantastic Four. But this newest Superman trailer, it shows a little bit. Like each trailer is just showing a little bit more, just a little bit more,
a little sprinkle,
little sprinkle. And I think we see more. There's more like a fight scene where I think he's fighting Ultraman with his helmet off now, and I'm trying to. You can't really tell the face because the prevailing theory is, unless it's like until he's fighting like 2 different kind of Superman clone or just anti-Superman type niggas. Maybe this is Mark 1 and then the next one, Ultraman, is like Mark 2 or something. I don't know. But he's fighting one of him and Crypto. And I'm trying. It didn't look like
a clone.
David Cornsweet. Because my theory is I think Lex made Bizarro. Like in this season, he made a Superman clone. They reveal who it is. At the end of this, he's gonna be like, "No, I'm Bizarro now." Like they're gonna revamp him and then make another, give him his own suit, and it's gonna end up being Bizarro. But
who made Amazo? I know that's another. I said, you remember Amazo? Am I tripping?
Yeah. So Amazo, he was made by. He basically was like a Justice League Terminator. He was made by another doctor, not Lex.
Dr. Anthony Ivo. That's who.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Forget I mentioned Amazo.
And then, so obviously we have the Authority in here who kind of come from another universe. So I think there's a scene in this movie where they're fighting in the negative zone or like some sort of zone outside of time, which is like a bridge where the Authority came from, unless the Authority were here the whole time, and that's just what James Gunn is doing. James Gunn could do what the fuck he wanted to do. I'm here for the ride, but this is just my theory. And B, you can let me know if you agree or disagree. But obviously, we know the Authority are from another universe. Maybe they come through this zone, and towards the end, they're trying to send them back and do this. There's a fight where Superman, Mr. Terrific, and it's the Authority, and they're fighting in this negative zone of this bridge. Because there's a scene in there where it's like him and Metamorpho are locked in like Lex Luthor's cage or prison, which I believe takes place in the negative zone, which is how he's able to lock all those people up. So,
okay.
What do you think about that?
You know what? I didn't think about Lex having access to the negative zone. That's something I didn't think about, him having access to it, and then that's how you can say, oh, now Superman has access to it. That's where because in the comics or in the TV shows, that's where he would send the big bad sometimes to the negative zone. But okay, I like that theory. I won't lie, I haven't thought about too many theories. I honestly don't know what the hell I'm about to see in this movie. I sounded like the future. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what I'm about to see. I know it's gonna be good, but I genuinely don't know the plot line outside of it's gonna be a Superman story. But I now that you say the authorities in there, I guess you can probably say when they in that trailer when they show the ground open up, maybe that's the connection to either the negative zone or where the authority comes from. Because then you had that scene where Mr. Terrific's all like, "What you doing down there, man?" And Superman's like, "I'm just hanging out." Some shit. Or he's like, "I'm just getting ready" or something. He said, but okay, that's interesting.
What do you think this Superman movie? Well, two-part question. A, do you think this Superman movie is gonna set up anything afterwards, like an end credit scene that's gonna lead in anything? What do you think that is?
It's either gonna set up. I don't think they set up Brainiac. I think that's way too early. Me personally, I think that would be way too early to set up Brainiac. I mean, you could technically mention him, but I don't think you full blown show him and all this other stuff because that's Brainiac already. That would be crazy. But I think you have to either mention one a big bad, or you have to mention one of the big people in the Justice League, the real Justice League, not Justice Side. You got to mention. I know they're not gonna mention Wonder Woman. I don't think they mentioned Batman.
I'm about to say, I don't think they mentioned Batman either.
I think at most they mentioned Gotham City. I think at most they mentioned Themyscira. But like name, I think a Green Lantern. I think they may.
Yeah, I think they expound more on like the Green Lantern core because we get our first Green Lantern with Guy Gardner. We're obviously getting the Lantern series with Howard Jordan and John Stewart.
Yeah, I think they
is Guy Gardner supposed to be in that too?
I
don't know.
I think they said he is. I don't think he has like a major role, but I feel like I saw somewhere where they said he is. I don't remember. But yeah, I think they mention or bring in talk more Green Lanterns because that's kind of what I can see. Or they could go far left and just do what they need to do and mention Martian Manhunter, mention Mars.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, in terms of what I believe, I think it sets up the next project, which I think the next project after this is Lantern. So I think it sets up whatever that show is gonna be centered around, because we do know Lanterns are supposed to hint at the next kind of major heavy against this DCU. Unless, actually, I just thought about this because we know Rick Flag Sr. is in this movie. Maybe after this, it sets up Peacemaker season 2. Or it's like a double end credit scene where we get some setting up Lanterns and another one kind of setting up Peacemaker.
That's a very James Gunn thing to do, to set up Peacemaker. So I can definitely see Peacemaker, some shit with him in there for sure.
But overall, I'm excited for this. And then Fantastic Four. I mean, like, honestly, this might be a hot take. This is Marvel's last chance to get the Fantastic Four right on the big screen. This is their last chance because they had it with the first Fantastic Four movie that came out with like Chris Evans and that original cast. Obviously, that movie was good. Rise of the Silver Surfer was good. There were questions about their Doctor Doom. I don't think those movies were about Doctor Doom, personally. But
did you see that the actor passed away?
No. Who?
The actor for Doctor Doom. Passed away like today. He passed away today. The actor for Doctor Doom.
Wow,
I saw it like right before we started recording.
that is crazy.
I think he was like 50 something, or just turned 60.
Know that. Wow, F's in the chat to Julian McHorn. Damn.
Yeah, it just came across my feed. I was like, what? But I think the movie's gonna be good. And I say that because one, David Cornsweet and Pedro Pascal, we said it before, but they've been promoting each other's movies, which I think is a great sign. I think more superhero movies in general needs to be like, bro, you have a movie coming out, I got a movie coming out, we're gonna promote each other's movies. Because at the end of the day, who don't want a job?
Yeah.
Like this day job. So at the end of the day, who don't want a job? And the shit is entertaining, but I think overall Task Force is gonna be good. I don't give a hoot about these people talking about why isn't it Norrin Red Silver Surfer. We don't care. He's gonna be in there eventually anyway. So Silver Surfer they have right now, she sound cold, she look cold. Galactus look crazy. And we haven't even seen the full thing. We just seen a fucking shoulder shot and a foot. And he looked crazy. And I think they're going to be getting whooped most of the movie.
You said what?
I think they're going to be getting whooped most of the movie. The Fantastic Four. But I also think, high key, they're going to save their Earth, but they're going to lose another planet they're trying to save. So I want to believe their Earth isn't the one that's destroyed, but we'll see.
Me personally, I think their Earth is done.
It's lunch.
Idea.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw the end credit scene for Thunderbolts. If you did not see that, I don't care. This is spoilers.
Yeah,
but
it's too late.
We saw an end credit scene for Thunderbolts. The Fantastic Four ship comes in. What if that's not the actual team, but it's Franklin? It's Franklin Rizzo. They pull some Superman shit, send him to that universe, and the Fantastic Four is like, Franklin, we're going to come back for you, but we got to go take care of this guy. So they send him off to try to save their universe, and now they're captured by Galactus. And now these niggas just got Franklin. They got a baby.
Nigga, they got a miniature they got a lowercase God in their hands. Nah, that would be crazy. I'm not gonna lie, that would be insane. You know how crazy that would be when that happens? Because
if that happens, we need to timestamp this, and we need to pull this on everything. There's probably like a less than 10% chance of that happening, but it could happen because we know it's the Fantastic Four ship. We don't see anybody on that ship. It could be the team. Flying. It could be Doom. For all we know, it could be Franklin.
It could be the goddamn Silver Surfer. We don't know who on that bitch.
They're like, it's not the Fantastic Four. It's your Doom. It's the herald to your Doom. But that idea literally just popped into my mind.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I think, like I said, personally, I think this might be a hot take. This is Marvel's last chance to get the Fantastic Four right. All the signs are pointing to it being good. I think if you're going to introduce the Fantastic Four in this stage of the MCU without name dropping them at all, I think this is the good idea of just saying they're in their own universe, so there's no question as to where the hell they've been. Where Thanos came, fucking, there's a fucking celestial popping out the ground. When the Thunderbolts came, there's no question because they're not here. Now, I already have my theory about the mutants. If you want to hear that again, you can listen to other episodes. But yeah, I'm excited for this movie regardless. And it's crazy that it's coming in like less in almost 21 days, in 2 weeks. 3 weeks
Bro,
actually.
I already have my ticket.
There'll be a point in time where it's Superman and the Fantastic Four in the same theater. And probably Jurassic World. There'll be a moment where Jurassic World, Fantastic Four, and Superman. You can damn near see all three of those movies at the same time. Well, not at the same time, but in the same day. It's a great time to be a real cinema watcher.
Facts.
But with that being said, we're gonna get into some like it lower redacted real fast. We don't have many, just some ones I wanted to get into. So a couple weeks ago, some of these are kind of late, but I don't care. James
Facts.
Gunn, he gives an update on the DCU's Batman. He says that their biggest issue, that the character is the universe's biggest issue right now. I mean, I can believe that because he's one of those characters, you don't need an origin story for, but at the same time, you got Matt Reeves' Batman going on. I'm sure he wants to respect that and let him finish out his story. The script for that movie, for Batman 2, just finished. I think either the script finished or filming finished. But I believe it was the script.
It was just a script. They put it.
So the script just finished.
Monday.
They didn't even start filming yet.
Yeah, it was Monday when they turned it in, and they said.
So that's gonna be another year and a half, minimum 2 years. And James Gunn is like, he's probably in a bowl. Like, I would love for Robert Pattinson to be in my universe, but Matt Reeves is like, hell no. So until his shit is done, they probably don't even want to touch Batman. And they're still trying to find a writer because there's no story, there's no script. He also said he doesn't want a funny, campy Batman. And he thinks, like, he also said, quote, that Wonder Woman would be an easier character to adapt because he says, quote, every Batman story has been told across media. I mean, he's not lying. It's like outside, at least all the Batman good ones. And he's still sticking to his guns, but he said in interviews like he's not gonna rush anything. Like he's not gonna pull the trigger for the sake of sticking to the schedule. Like if it's not ready, it's not ready, and when it is, it is. Like he's not going to force nothing. And he wants to make sure Batman is right, especially his Batman. If they're not going to go the Robert Pattinson route, he want to make sure that this Batman lands. Because outside of Superman, really the whole DC Trinity needs to land. But at least Batman and Superman, they got to hit.
It sound good. With him saying like I ain't gonna rush it, but he can't wait. He realistically can't wait more than 3 years to introduce Batman, because then it's gonna be like, nigga, Superman was 3 years ago. What are we waiting on? So I think the farthest he can go, I think where people won't ride is maybe 4 years, and that's me being very generous. It's me being very generous. Like without casting, introducing, like no cameo. I think max 4 years, and that's me. Like I said, being very generous to like.
Well, they've technically had one cameo.
Creature
Commandos.
That don't count.
And that nigga was built like a brick outhouse.
That was absolute Batman. That nigga was 6'9", 6'10",
260 pounds.
Nigga, a fucking construction worker. That nigga is on the yard. I think it is a good thing that he wants to like wait and actually do it right, because that means they're actually thinking about it. But I'm just trying to think about like the average consumer's patience and willingness to wait that long.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, I don't care, bro. I get the Batman, I get all these other shows and everything. I don't give a fuck. I can wait. But the average Joe that don't know shit from shit, we don't care about them. But goddamn, at the same time, a lot of their voices do be having impacts on these movies nowadays. So
Yeah, I like that he's trying to wait. I do agree in the sense of I hear what you're saying in the sense of like he can't just like wait forever. Like at some point he
got to
something's got to give.
Hey,
And
at some point,
part of that is
he can't let the gun jam, bro. He got to go.
well, part of that is like Matt Reeves needs to finish his story because I think he's waiting on Matt Reeves to finish his Batman because he doesn't. Maybe they don't believe two ongoing Batmans in two different universes can work. Which I don't really agree with that, but I see where they're coming from because, like, we as comic book fans can compartmentalize the two. Other niggas either can't or they won't. They're like, why are there two Batmans going on? Like, or is one in the other? And like, why don't they just come out? So they're just like, to save the headache, to save the discourse, to save the bullshit, we're just gonna have one Batman at a time. Because like I said, Matt Reeves already came out and said like the Batman is his own thing. It's linear. Mm-hmm. It's not tied to the DCU. Things can change.
It's not mystical. Well, I won't say not mystical, but it's not mystical. It's very grounded because we see this nigga get whooped a little bit by some niggas off Reddit. So he not fighting. He not fighting Ultraman. Nobody like that. And we were out there whooping his ass, nigga.
Yeah, like plus they still need to find a writer in the story, and like once they have that, they'll be able to go. But at this point, they have no foundation.
Yeah.
So moving on, more James Gunn news. James Gunn also says he gives some updates. He says there is no updates on Static Shock joining the DCU. He says, quote, there's a whole bunch of complexities behind that character right now.
Why you say
I don't even really know what that means. What is that? What do you mean by that?
What do you mean there's complexities?
If I'm going to try and dissect what he means by that, maybe he is like, there's a lot to the character that he wants to get right. And James Gunn, being the perfectionist that he is, he's not just gonna throw on some bullshit for the sake of pleasing fans. So
I'm glad you worded it like that.
he's all about what does that script say? What is the story? What is the story? Do we have a story? If we don't, I don't want to hear it. If we don't have a cohesive end, beginning, middle, end, I don't want to hear it. And where are you pulling this story from? What book is this? Is this your interpretation, or is this true to a comic book run? Are you just making shit up out of thin air, or are you actually pulling something from a Milestone Media line? And if that's not it, you're out of here. And they probably ain't find a writer yet. I know a nigga. His name is Bo the Mail. He'll get you right.
Freak Bo.
Freak Bo. Now, it's either that or Ryan Coogler, in my opinion.
Ryan Coogler.
And also, I'm like,
and everything.
I'll say I like this because Static Shock, as funny as it is, he's like one of those characters where I think he has a fan base that's so attached to that like comic book TV show. It's like if you're not doing shit basically 1-to-1 with that, I'm not trying to see it. Especially because he was introduced in Young Justice. I didn't really watch that show after like season 2, but
you missing out. Even though it got ended and everything, but side note, that's one of the best animated TV shows, comic book wise, ever be released. All right, back to what we were talking about.
But it's like I think he understands that, and it's just like, you know, this version of Virgil Hawkins is so iconic that it's hard to mimic that, not only in live action, but probably just doing like another animated show.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably wants to get that right, and probably hasn't found a writer or any sort of creative direction to effectively execute that.
No, that makes sense. I'm really laughing at just the way he worded it. It's just hilarious. Like, I don't know what it's reminding me of I don't know if you saw recently his comments about like trolls. Did you see that? He made it. Oh man. Give me 1 second. I want to see if I can find it fast. If not, we just won't talk about it.
Also, side note on Static, because we know, well, for those who don't know, Static was originally a character out of the Milestone Media comic book house, like that comic book, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically that comic book house before DC bought them out. So all those runs in Milestone, it was Static. He was the most popular one, but there was also Icon, who's basically like their version of Superman. He literally had the same story as Superman. He's an alien that came down. I think he came down during Reconstruction or like right during segregation. But he was portrayed as this black man, and he went through these hardships, but was also serving good. And he had a sidekick because the main comic book run was Icon and Rocket, his sidekick. And then also there was another character out of there called Hardware, who a lot of people try to make the comparison to him as to like an Iron Man, because he's this super smart, genius level dude. I don't think he was a billionaire, if I'm thinking about his character correctly, but he, made a lot of suits and was just fighting bad guys. But he's more than just a black Iron Man. Then we had this other group in there called the Black Syndicate or the Blood Syndicate. So it's like, I think they also, and this is another idea, or maybe be just trying to think about what they're also thinking. Because I think if they can get Static right, maybe James Gunn hires a team that they can use Static to introduce all those Milestone Media characters like an Icon, a Hardware, Blood Syndicate. They can do all that in Dakota City or wherever they're from. But it's like, we got to get Static right first before we even touch any of those niggas, literally.
I found the I found the clip. So pretty much he's talking about social media, James Gunn. He's talking about like trolls and stuff on social media. All right.
I do tune out most of social media, but every once in a while there'll be somebody who will say something. It's always the weirdest stuff. It's never what you expect. Some weird thing. That guy, and then I go, I might be getting upset about something a 12-year-old in India is saying. You know what I mean? I'm like, let it go. But I think that was really about the whole scene.
You almost unleashed that gun. The gun almost blew. The gun almost blew.
Bro, nigga said what he said. I said, James, what the fuck? They go
The gun
get
almost
after
blew.
you. Oh, I don't know why that's just hilarious to me. It's crazy, but it's hilarious. But yeah.
Man. Shout out James Gunn, man. Keep that gun locked. Keep that gun cocked. And last, like a little redacted, probably the biggest news we're gonna talk about is John Berthal has been cast and will return as the Punisher in the new Spider-Man Brand New Day movie. I don't even need to finish the question. We love this.
Love it.
Love this. And now, because you've seen the Spider-Man animated series, right?
Yeah.
So there's a series of episodes where the Punisher shows up. I think it's like either right before or right after Blade shows up in that same season. But it's Spider-Man, it's the Punisher. He shows up to kill Spider-Man. Spider-Man is taking some sort of fucking serum and turns him into Man-Spider. Or the Spider-Man. And he's also, it's Kingpin going on. It's, what's that nigga name in the wheelchair? Oh my gosh.
Oh.
It's like Slade or Slade.
I would say Silas, but that's definitely not his name. That's not that nigga's name.
But you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this news. I'm not sure what this movie will be about. How, I mean, the only thing we got is pretty much just that it's coming out and Tom Holland's going to be in it, and that it takes place before the events. The events of this movie takes place before Doomsday. It just comes out after Doomsday. So kind of like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah. Similar to like Black Widow movie.
So I'm excited for this. It's about time we got some Spider-Man shit, some good Spider-Man shit, because Sony has been murdering that IP. I'm not going to go on a Sony rant. I've done that long enough. We know where I stand on that.
Yeah.
But
and the Shang-Chi director is the one who directed it. So you
also
know them fight scenes about to be crazy.
Yeah. It's like them Spider-Man and Punisher fight scenes, they about to go crazy. I think it's also rumored that Mr. Negative is supposed to be like the main villain of this movie.
That'd be crazy.
It's gonna be a Hydro Man. He gonna turn Mary Jane. Oh my gosh! Could you imagine?
He turns
if they
Zendaya
did
into
some shit
this.
like that in this movie. They turned Zendaya into fucking water and that bitch evaporate. Oh my gosh. That would be the funniest / saddest scene ever.
It would be so sad, but I would just think about the meme.
But I love this. I can't wait to see more footage of this movie as it gets closer to that release date. It's gonna get some time though, because the movie probably ain't gonna come out to like 2027.
Yeah, because Doomsday is what, next year, right?
With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into our bag, our infamous bag. We haven't gotten that bag in a long time.
About a month.
So, Feek, will you do the honors and drop that music? All right, so this week's Get in Our Bag question is one that I found on Twitter. It is, so what are some notable, because you know there's like plot twist villains, plot twist heroes. So an example this person used for their tweet was the old man from Monsters House.
He did end up helping them. at the very end. He got eaten. Didn't he get eaten? Yeah, he did. Wait.
I would say
Plot twist heroes.
Technically, Yondu from Guardians, he came around. He wasn't no true villain, but he came around. He was like a twist hero. He just was a terrible stepfather to Star-Lord.
I'd say this is a stretch. I'd say Loki. Because the very beginning he was a villain, but then he switched over. Now he's holding the universe together. I was trying to think of some more animated stuff. Oh, Piccolo.
That's probably the best one.
He was a full-blown villain.
He was a full-blown
He was
villain.
the main villain at a point.
Him and his daddy.
Shoot, Vegeta. Vegeta's another one.
Yeah,
Full-blown
Vegeta.
Villain.
Zuko
That is
from
another
Avatar.
Plot twist villains. I'm trying.
Does Megamind count?
I guess. Fuck it, yeah. I'm trying to think who's a villain that I just couldn't believe they helped somebody at the end.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm trying to think.
For the people that don't know, this is Off the Dome. That's why we may be blanking out at times when y'all be like, that person was obvious. You try to answer this. I see a character, and
I would say my last one would probably be like Venom during some like Eddie Brock, some time he started out as a villain, but like once Carnage showed up, he's like, all right, nigga, we can't beat him by ourselves.
Man, Eddie said, "You see that?
We're teaming up for this one time. After this, we go back to killing each other."
Who was the person they said originally?
Who
was the person that the original poster had as
they had the old man from Monster's House. I'm just scrolling through here. They had a good one. The Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That's a deep pull.
That is a crazy guy.
That is a crazy pull.
I
remember that. He popped up on the scene and whooped all they ass. But he was under mind control, and then they freed him from that, and then he became their greatest weapon.
Oh, freaking! I got one. Greed from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
That's
Greed, because he definitely started off as a villain, and then he ended up low-key after he got killed. Came back. He said
low-key another anime pull I would say is a good one is Law, because when he was introduced, they did show him as a villain, or at least an enemy to Luffy. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, hey, you can't join my crew because you already got a crew, but we can ally.
I got one from One Piece. Kuma. You can't tell me Kuma wasn't the most evil nigga in that show when they was on Sabaody, and that nigga said, boop, 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 boop. I was in the...
That is a great pull.
Like, even though
That's
I
a
knew
great
these,
pull.
they
Yes.
survived. I was texting, I was like, "Oh, these niggas is dead, bro." Yeah,
How could I forget?
Kuma, yeah.
And with that being said, we're going to end this with our redacted rule for the pod. I would say my redacted rule for the pod, since it's the 4th of this month. Just I don't even know where I was gonna go with that. I just be safe tonight. the redacted rule is be safe. Like,
Yeah.
if you're know when it's time to leave a function, there'll be signs. And just be safe tonight. Be safe. Drink responsibly if you do that, and just have fun.
Yeah. My redacted rule is, as always, drink water, take your vitamins, because some of y'all need vitamins. Y'all need some daily vitamins, some vitamin D, some fish oil, something, chlorophyll. Take your vitamins, be healthy. Working out ain't the only thing gonna keep you healthy. That's for aesthetics. Your internal body is crying right now because some of y'all don't take vitamins or eat healthy. But yeah, health is wealth. So get wealthy.
With that being said, we appreciate y'all for rocking with us for another episode 101 Dalmatian. It's been your boy Dana Dane.
Your boy Wafik.
And we out.
Peace.
Recipes call me, I'ma show 'em how to shoot. On the 4-5, jump in the ass, my crew. Yeah, I'm stepping with a fat, keeping all of the hoes on mute. Pull up part, could be yellow in a brew. 48 for a quick burst. Crazy 8s in the back, yeah, the trunk on hot like a cue. 40 on me when I'm in the backseat. Blotter, paper pre-cut. Chris make juice to the drop like Chain came with a clean plate, came with a sink. The Parator came with a mate. Tricones white like paint. My hoe by the hoe, cause she know it's my king. Hit on my side, cause I drop a song. Then you should hit up the link. The phenotype came from the pink Colombian thing. Yeah, the genetics unique. Cellular right on the beat. I'm teaching the hoe like I'm Play-Doh. I got the veggies like by the tomato. You got a basic hoe making Alfredo. I put a bag on a hoe on my payroll. I get active at night, then I lay low. The salmon was breaded with panko. Drunk in my soup, I believe it was Mako. Got my Soviet clutch in the Draco.